Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back. My name is Lisa Alastuey, and on this channel, we have a variety of interviews that include people who are very inspirational and informational. And today, I'm fortunate to have the 2025 Masters Mr. Olympia, Dorian Haywood. Welcome, Dorian.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how is that settling in? It's been a couple weeks since you've been declared the winner. How are you processing it?
I didn't expect it to be such a big thing kind of on the other side of it. And it's evolving to be what it is. And I'm really just kind of soaking it all in and enjoying the process. And a lot of people are giving me a lot of congratulations and praise. And there's a lot of people that have been witnessing what I've been doing for several decades. And finally, to see all this stuff come to fruition and collect a big win like this, it's kind of a dream come true.
Yes, yes. And it's not over. You're actually going to be going on to the Mr. Olympia in October, which we're going to talk about. But before we do that, let's just kind of back up for the audience. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in bodybuilding and what motivated you to start competing?
Well, I've been bodybuilding for 28 years. What got me into it is when I first got into high school, I was wrestling 103 pounds, but I was underweight for the weight class. I think I was like 86, 87 pounds my freshman year. Then my sophomore year, after getting my ass handed to me my whole freshman year because I was underweight, I decided to do something to make myself more competitive. And I started studying the magazines, like the bodybuilding magazines, to look at nutritional and different training protocols to help me put on size and strength and increase my performance. And it worked. It worked really well. Um, so that's what kind of got me into bodybuilding, is to improve my performance for wrestling and get my weight where I wanted it. Then I did that in 1997. And 3 years later, I did my first show in 2000. I was 136 pounds. And I did the Bluegrass Muscle Classic down in Lexington, Kentucky, that Tricky Jackson puts on. And I think I got last place. So from 136 pounds in 2000 to about 242 pounds and 25 years later, that's over 100 pounds of stage weight I put on.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I competed as an amateur from 2000. I had a lot of stuff going on. I got my degree in exercise science. Then I turned around and I got my doctorate in chiropractic and had a kid and got married. So by the time I was really kind of in a place to take this serious was about 2011. So 11 years after starting my first show is when I thought I could maybe make a run to get my pro card. So it took me 5 years to get my pro card. I won nationals in 2016 down in Miami. And here we are. I didn't get a win for 8 years after that, which was pretty humbling. I won the Daytona Beach Muscle Classic down in Daytona Beach, and I got my qualification for the Masters Olympia. That was my first pro win. Back-to-back wins. Just got this Masters Olympia title, which is the highlight of my career.
Amazing. And for the audience that don't know, in order to qualify for masters, you have to be age 40 and up. And so when you were starting your bodybuilding career, were you thinking, I'm going to continue this on into middle age?
I had no idea what would have become of bodybuilding when I first started this. I remember looking at the magazines, like I said, I'd see these guys that are doing Olympia and whatever. I didn't think I could be that. I didn't think that was even a possibility. I don't even think that was a card that was dealt for me. So, like I said, I didn't really think I could have a potential to get my pro card until maybe like 2011. So 11 years into bodybuilding, I think is when I finally kind of had the confidence that I could push to try to get a pro card.
Awesome. Awesome. Are you planning to return and defend your title for next year?
So I think the Masters Olympia is going to be doing it every 2 years.
Oh.
So I'm already qualified. Um, I haven't stopped bodybuilding in 28 years. I don't know what's going to stop me in the next two.
Hmm.
I yeah, I can see myself definitely doing that.
Oh, and how old are you for the audience, just so they know?
Just turned 43 on July 30th.
Okay. Awesome. Happy belated birthday. So Do you know why the Olympia doesn't do it every year? Why they're doing it staggered like that?
Well, if you kind of look at the history of it, it's never actually been something that's been super consistent. There's been times where they had it every single year, but then there's also been times where there's been 10 years gaps between the show. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly why they stopped doing it and why they started doing it staggered like this. But I know Jake Wood with the Wings of Strength organization. They own the Olympia, and they have a lot of competitors that are going to qualify to do this Masters show that needs some attention. So I think it's really cool that they're bringing it back around and it's getting popularity again. And it's becoming an exciting event. At least this one was.
Yes, yes. And so, what do you think they could do to bring more attention to the Masters?
Um, well, that's kind of a loaded question because a lot went on after the Masters. I think given me praise and my accomplishment, and kind of promoting my victory in a positive light and promoting the whole show in a positive light is going to be something that draws more appeal to the show and more respect to the show.
Mhm.
Kind of sad. I see a lot of social media influencers and people who do podcasts. They weren't really talking so great about the show because of all the controversy associated with the judging.
Mhm.
I think it did bring more attention to the show, which could possibly be a good thing, but it
Mhm.
was kind of a negative light. So, uh, I'm kind of letting all that stuff blow over
Okay.
because it will.
Yep.
Uh, you know, I think I'm just going to go out there and promote this show and be an ambassador for the sport and make this
Mhm.
whole show look like it's an awesome event. And I think the best thing for me to do, honestly, uh, is to represent the Masters class the best that I possibly can be in the Masters Olympia. So we got the Olympia coming up. I've heard some podcasters saying it doesn't matter if Haywood or Phil Clayhar won the show. They're not going to do anything at the Olympia substantial. Well, guess what? I'm going to show up to the Olympia and I'm going to do my best to do something substantial. Uh, I don't think I think I was on for the Masters Olympia, but I don't think I was 100% my best. And if I can fix a couple things, getting a little leaner, holding my poses a little bit better, I'm going to be a contender for the top 10. And I think putting a guy my age with that title uh, in a place with all the rest of the open competitors, that's really going to shine light on how good this master's class is and how much talent's there. And that's going to be the best thing I think I can do to um, basically do
So
something for this division.
awesome, awesome. I've seen some of that controversy, and I know that in a podcast, Sean Ray had recommended that they should celebrate the Masters winner doing their own posing routine and not be competing with the younger guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, so Sean Ray, he talks a lot, and I don't know if he always thinks before he does it. Kind of offensive. Because my thoughts are if I'm in the best shape of my life and in better shape than I was in the Masters, I'm going to be competitive with this class. So to not include me as somebody who's competitive with everybody else, I think it's offensive to every single Masters competitor there is, including myself.
Okay. And plus, that's what the organization rules are. So you're just falling in with the rules. He's trying to create maybe some new rules. But, when thinking about marketing and branding of the Masters, I saw that it was located in Tokyo, Japan this year, which, if you're a fan, that makes it really hard to show up and to see that. Do you think it would be beneficial if they would bring the Masters back to the United States and then maybe it would have more of a draw?
That's an interesting question. I can see it going both ways. So, one aspect, I think you're going to get more competitors to potentially want to compete because it's expensive to go to Japan and the prize money is not substantial for anybody except the winner. Phil, he got second place. I think he took himself and his wife there first class on the airplane. Even though he won $10,000 prize money, he's still coming out in the negative in terms of this competition. He still lost money doing this, even though he was one of the most successful guys on the stage. Um,
So for the audience, they don't pay your way to go, and
They do.
the prize money is what, 20,000 for first place, 10,000 for second place.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So I think that's part of the appeal in terms of getting better talent in there. Is A, making sure the prize money's worth it, and putting it in a place where it's kind of affordable to attend.
Hmm.
And the other side of the spectrum is Japanese culture really respects bodybuilders. So the crowd, I mean, they had a sold out crowd. The press conference was full of people that were very interested. So it's like I said, I can see good in both. I think it's great for the sport and great for the Japanese fans and
Hmm.
people who live over in that part of Asia
Hmm.
because they don't get this type of exposure to professional bodybuilding.
Hmm.
Uh,
I know that
but
it's been in Romania last or 2 years ago or last year, however they're doing it. But it's, to me, it's kind of like, how are they picking the places, and do they think about the athletes and what it's going to take for them to, to afford to go? Because not everybody gets prize money.
right. Um, and my friend Alina, she used to be my personal trainer, then she turned into my training partner. This is Alina Popa. She's a world champion of female bodybuilding. And she's the one who does that master show over in Romania. Pretty much any show in Romania is Alina's territory. Um, I think it was a good event, but from what I've heard, the event in Tokyo seemed to outshine that event in Romania. I think Tokyo is a little bit more accessible. I think where that show was in Romania, it was in Bucharest. So I think you got to like fly into an airport and drive another 2 or 3 hours to get to Bucharest.
Hmm.
I heard the venue was outstanding there, but the crowd wasn't substantial. And I think it's just, like I said, hard to access for both the competitor and the fan.
Hmm.
So I think if they did have it in a place like Denver or a place
Where you're from?
yeah, doing Denver, I'm right here.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
guarantee I'll do it if you do it in Denver. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, I think you'll get more fans and more competitors that have access to doing this show.
Hmm. People talk about why doesn't it draw more of like the top tier big names? And is it because of the prize money? Does it all come down to dollars? Why some of those guys aren't, continuing their competition into their 40s, even though they could, they still have the great physiques.
Well, let's talk about some of the guys that are on top right now. I think they crowned me Mr. Olympia, but there's a couple bodybuilders that could potentially beat me and take my title. But they didn't. They didn't show up. So I'm the man. That's great.
Right.
But if you look at guys like William Bonac, Brandon Curry, there's some high level Olympians that could have pushed me for the title and potentially taken it from me, but they didn't show up.
Hmm.
I think part of it might be the prize money, but I don't think that is for me. I did this show. It wasn't because of the prize money. It's because of the prestige of the title,
Hmm.
and that's what I think serious competitors who have their heart in this, they love bodybuilding. I think that's more of a draw than the money. Because I'll tell you, when I was on stage competing for the show, last thing on my mind was the money. What I wanted was the win. I wanted to beat
Hmm.
everybody there, and I wanted to take that title home with me because that
Hmm.
was the goal.
Yeah, I would think, the Phil Heaths of the world would want a master's level, or they would want that title because there is the prestige to that. It's not over just because now you're middle aged, but a lot of them don't do it. They are on to other, other things.
Everybody has the reason to not do that show. Um, I believe Phil would have done that show if it was um, economically in the cards for him.
Hmm.
If they paid him a lot of money, he would do it. But
Hmm.
I think for him to do it to potentially win $20,000, it's not worth his time or effort.
Mm. Man, must be good to be in that position in life.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
7-time Mr. Olympia. I mean, that's the biggest title there is. So he doesn't really have much left to prove.
yep, yep. So when the Masters is 40 and up, there's no like upper age cap, right? Like people could come in their 50s, 60s if they want, but you have to be invited, correct?
No.
No.
Yeah, yes and no. There's two ways you can come to this contest. Um, and I don't know how much the special invite's going to be a thing in the future. But since this is like the master thing is kind of newer and they're developing a qualification series. They had some special invites for people this year.
Hmm.
I didn't want to risk it. I thought I was good enough to get a special invite, but I didn't want to like try to get a special invite and they not grant it to me. So I closed the door on that by qualifying.
Mm.
So if you can do a 40 and over masters class and win, you're qualified to do the Masters Olympia, or you can get a special invite.
Okay. All right. So can I ask you about some of the judging controversy? If you're not comfortable with it, I totally understand. It's maybe overplayed on a lot of these podcasts, but I would like to hear maybe your perspective.
Um, so I can understand why Phil, the runner up to this show, is agitated about this. I totally get it. From what it looks like on the scorecards, is that he just dominated prejudging. Because coming out of prejudging, they had Phil in first. They took me out of the middle and put me outside, and they put me in third, and they put Dom in second. So Phil had a pretty commanding lead coming out of prejudging. And Phil thinks something happened. There's something fishy between what happened between prejudging and the night show that turned the judges off or whatever they put him in first for, and they put me in first. So I get why Phil's agitated about it. I mean, I know the guy, he put in 18 weeks of work on this prep on top of decades of work to get himself to have this awesome champion level physique.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it, now he's 51 and he was one of the oldest competitors in the show.
Yes.
So his timeline and window of opportunity is closing faster than some of the other competitors. So I'm sure he wanted it and he wanted it now and he worked hard for it and he thought he deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made a big stink about it, him and the guy from Muscle Discord, just trying to plead their case. And it kind of made the judges look bad in a way. I think it was very disrespectful to the judges and even disrespectful to me, even though I don't think Phil intended that. Me and Phil are friends and we've been friends for years. So I don't think he's trying to be disrespectful to me, but I do think he's trying to state his case that there's some type of prejudice against him in the IFBB.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be or whether that not be, that's not for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say this, Phil, if you won prejudging, congratulations. But what I brought to the night show was flawless. It's years of experience all funneled into a specific time that was just perfect. And I nailed my posing. I came on stage with charisma, intensity, passion. I put my soul out there, as well as my performance was perfect in the night show. So a lot of people want to call it judging controversy. I don't think the judges had anything to do with it. In my opinion, I showed up when it was time to show up, and I won the show when it was time. So that being said, there shouldn't be too much controversy.
Okay,
That,
awesome.
so
Can you kind of explain to me how the judging works? I know there's pre-judging, and then you come back, and for this case, it was 3 hours later, you come back and do the finals. Is the pre-judging weighted the same as the finals judging score?
in this scenario, yes. I believe there's been shows in the past, like Mr. Olympia shows in the past. It's like they have 4 different rounds of judging. But most shows aren't like that. And to be honest with you, if you look at most pro shows, I think most of the show's weight is on prejudging. But I think when you're looking at Olympia shows and Mr. Olympia and Masters Olympia, um, I personally think there should be more weight in the night show because whoever is the best bodybuilder standing there at the end of the day, that's who the crowd gets to see. That's the judge's last look, and that's probably who should win the show.
Okay. I know some people are, throwing out there that maybe we should do away with and get rid of prejudging altogether and only just have like one show of the finals. What do you think about that idea?
Personally, as a competitor, I think it's a wonderful idea. If it was like that, I probably wouldn't have won Masters Olympia. So I think it's good, to see that the competitor can hold their physique over a course of time.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, that's a good point too, though, because like you can look different at 11 a.m. than you do at 8 o'clock p.m. And some people are going to peak early, some people are going to peak late.
yeah, there can be a major difference there. Some people might peak for prejudging and just not show up for the night show, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a part of that is a business thing from any contest. It's like they want to sell two sets of tickets opposed to just one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you let the audience know, like, what did you do after prejudging that you think really brought in a tighter look for you for finals?
A couple things. So luckily, one of my best friends, Adam Young, who's a 212 bodybuilder, was there in the crowd, and he's a trainer in my gym where I go. And as soon as I got off stage, he's texted me. He's like, "You come meet up with me right now. Some of your poses are off, and we're gonna get them right here, right now." And he was right. I think I'm kind of used to the posing room that I practice in and the lighting angles. So I catered my posing to that, but that wasn't necessarily optimal for the lighting conditions and the stage
Mm.
conditions over there in Tokyo. So me and Adam got that fixed. Um, I think one thing that was unique about that competition day is I only had two meals. I had a meal in the morning, then I had a meal after prejudging, and that was like 4 ounces of chicken and some cream of rice. So by the time I went on for the night show, my belly was turned inside out, and I was nice and tight. Um, so I would say not eating too much, having Adam's advice to help perfect my posing, and I got to be honest with you, prejudging kicked my ass. I put it all out on the line. I pumped up hard so I looked good on stage. I worked hard on stage. And by the time the prejudging was over, I was exhausted. So after I talked to Adam, after I ate, I just laid down and didn't move until it was time to get ready for the night show. So I think those are the three things that kind of like contributed to my appearance looking better in the evening.
Okay. Can you see the screen here?
God, that's a good bodybuilder, whoever that is.
Ah, and this is from your finals routine. So you're going to, in your poster, you said that you're going to use something similar to this for the Mr. Olympia in
Yep.
October.
Yeah, definitely. I like the music, has good intensity. I flow to it well. And believe it or not, this is the first time I ever performed this routine in public.
Okay. What do you think about the background? Is it too busy to like, do they need to like make it a black background? Would that be better?
That would be better. Everybody was complaining about it. I really didn't notice it. But then again, I wasn't watching the show. I was competing in the show.
Right, right.
Yeah, I heard somebody talking about it last night. If you got orange, gold, red tones in your background, that's going to bleed in with the color of the competitors. So, having like blue, green, black backgrounds, I think this is going to be the best thing for really highlighting the physique and not the backstage.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing these shows for so long. You would think that they would learn from it and give a really good background for the athletes.
Hmm.
You would think.
I would think, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So let's talk about what are you doing now? We are at the end of August and you have the show coming up in October. What is your plan of attack for the Mr. Olympia?
Well, um, I gotta say, winning that show in Tokyo, the experience of winning, like I said, is still setting in with me. Um, but the whole time, kind of part of what was on my mind right after the win was my I looked at my goals for what I'm trying to accomplish this season. And winning the Masters at Olympia is not my only goal this season. It's only the first half of it. My other half is to compete and be successful in the Mr. Olympia show. So I didn't really take any time to celebrate excessively or binge on food because my mind wasn't in a place to celebrate because we're not done yet. So I actually left Tokyo early so I could get back to my routine, get back to my diet, get back to my training. And I'm glad I did. But I really didn't skip a beat. I actually think I'm better right now than I was for the Masters Olympia. I'm leaner and I'm bigger. So that's kind of my goal. Just take no steps.
Uh-oh, you froze. Yikes.
And just continue to make steps forward every day until we're on the Olympia stage. And I think if I do that, I'll bring in a very respectable package, probably the best version of myself we've ever seen.
Awesome, awesome. So out of the lineup, where do you think you'll place? What are you aiming for?
stellar. We are full of stat competition, wonderful competitors. Everybody on, I don't know if I've ever beat anybody on this lineup, to be honest with you.
It's a tough one.
I think if you took the Masters O win and my conditioning and my shape there, I'd be battling for the bottom portion of the placements. But if I come in better, improved, and in the best shape of my life, I think I'm fighting to get in that top 10. So that's my goal. I want to be able to be the best version of myself on that day and also be able to crack that top 10. That would be a dream come true.
It would be very inspirational to every middle-aged bodybuilder out there if they saw that.
And like I said, I want to be a good representative for my title of the Masters Olympia. I feel bad for Phil and everything that's gone on with this. So the least I can do is if he can't beat me and continue to compete, I want to be the best representative for that Masters class. So it kind of shows you how good Phil actually is.
Yes, yes. I don't think it's personal to you at all. I think he's very inspirational. I've had him on my channel before. Comes with a very great physique for a man who's 51. And so just keep doing your thing and just kind of turn down some of that social media noise that's going on because you need to focus on the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, and I honestly, I really haven't let any of this bother me. At the end of the day, you can complain all you want, but you're not going to change the outcome of what happened.
Right, right. Um, okay, so speaking of the Mr. Olympia, who do you have picked to win?
I don't.
How about
Uh,
top three?
I would assume it's going to be Derek and Samson. I think Samson's probably got the best physique and genetics of everybody out there,
Mhm.
but he does nail his conditioning every time. If Samson's in the best condition of his life, or better than, or at least as good as the rest of the competition, he'll win. But can he put that look on stage? That's the question.
Yeah.
I think Derek's very consistent, and he's got freaky proportions. He's a small guy, but he's a huge guy, if that makes any
Yes.
sense.
Yep, he has the longest clavicle I've ever seen on a small, short guy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. He's got a small head. He's got small joints. He's got small ankles and knees. And I want to say when he stands, he comes up to about my chin. So he's probably like 5'4".
Hmm.
But his proportions are just ridiculous. So Derek's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. Then again, a guy who never misses the mark is Hottie. And I think he's lost 2 years in a row, and he doesn't like to lose. So I really doubt he's been slacking in the off season.
Hmm.
So there's my top three. If I had to
Oh,
pick Hottie, Derek, and Samson, no particular order.
so a little bit of you think it's going to be a repeat of last year, that top
Yeah,
three battling it out. There's not going to be like somebody coming in like a Nick Walker that's going to sneak in, or a Dorian Haywood.
yeah, that would be a dream come true. I really doubt that they'll let me anywhere near those top five guys. But shit, if I'm good enough, why wouldn't they?
Hmm.
So you never know. You never put me in this lineup before. I've got a lot of strengths that can really push some of these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of somebody else who could probably jump into that top three.
Martin Fitzwater.
I don't talk about Martin.
Oh, okay.
Um, I would love to take him out of the Olympia. I can tell you that.
There must be some beef behind that. I don't know the story.
Um, I think Nick Walker's got a lot of hype and a lot of talent, and he's consistent when he actually goes to the shows and
Mhm.
doesn't drop out. So I just pray that Nick can have a healthy prep and have a good showing. And if he does, he always does good.
He's a fan favorite. People love to see him on stage. So I hope he's healthy and he makes it this year for
Uh,
sure.
yes, the same. So he's got a potential to do well, but we're seeing some guys who aren't in the show. Hunter Labrada's not doing it, and he was right up there, top 5 or 6 last year. You
Yeah.
know, one physique that is awed me from the very moment I saw this guy. I competed with Andrew Jack last year at the Texas Pro.
Hmm.
And outside of seeing Ronnie Coleman in his prime, Andrew Jack's probably the most impressive bodybuilder I've ever seen in the flesh in person.
Wow.
So if that dude can put it together, um, he's a threat for anybody. I could see him winning the show.
What's held him back from being in the top three?
Just little things. People say his physique's incomplete, but he's so tall and so big.
Okay.
It's sometimes hard to fill out a physique that big.
Hmm.
But I mean, he is awfully close to being perfect with it.
Hmm.
I also think sometimes he looks better show to show, so he'll nail his timing and his conditioning.
Hmm.
And in one show, a good example last year he did the Texas Pro, and everybody was like, "That's the best Andrew we've ever seen." Then you put him on the Olympia stage, which was his second show of the season, and it wasn't. He didn't quite have the same effect.
Hmm.
So people are thinking if he can come in and do what he's traditionally done, do his first show, and that's always his best show,
Hmm.
he's going to put that on the Olympia stage, and hopefully that's a little bit more competitive package for him.
Awesome, awesome. So they didn't pay your way to the Masters in Tokyo. Are they paying your way to this one in
I
Las
think there's a way you can get compensated, like if you um, give the production team your receipt for your plane ticket, they'll reimburse you for it.
Vegas?
But I'm kind of in a position where it's best for me to drive, so I don't know if they're going to reimburse me for my gas money or not. It's
Yeah.
just as much plane ticket.
It's interesting they'll reimburse athletes for certain shows and not other shows, I guess is my point.
Yeah, well, the Olympia is the only one I can think off the top of my head that's going to reimburse you for anything.
Yeah,
So,
true. True.
and that's what it's supposed to be, the best of the best. It's a
Hmm.
demonstration of the best of the world in terms of bodybuilding.
Yep.
So here are the athletes on a different level. So
Hmm.
I'm not surprised. At the same time, I doubt the Olympia makes any money because they're putting so much into the athletes. I think most shows are run as a business. They're geared to make money.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't expect any other show besides the Olympia to put up that much money and per diem and
Hmm.
investment in their competitors.
Hmm. Well, I'll definitely be watching. I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be really good. I won't be present this year, but I'll be watching or through the streams and stuff.
Well, great
Um,
on a show for you.
yes, definitely put on a show for us. Because you are inspiring the middle-aged, the 40 and up bodybuilder. What advice would you give to others in that age range who are wanting to continue and to compete in their master's level?
Well, here's kind of the beautiful thing about bodybuilding. You don't have to start at any particular age. Bodybuilding is all about being the best version of yourself and continuing to better that. So if you've never done it before, what's stopping you from your goals? Probably you.
Mhm.
Um, that being said, I've been doing this for 28 years. I've been doing it since I've been 15 years old. The only reason that I'm in the position that I'm in is I never quit. I always believed in myself. I knew I had something that was special and competitive. And even though I've had setbacks and placements that weren't necessarily favorable to me, uh, I don't complain about my placement. I look about how I can improve every time. And I don't necessarily look at this competition as me competing against somebody else. The competition is me versus me every show. As
Mhm.
long as I can improve, I'm winning. So that's my advice. A, it's never too late to start. And B, if you start and you're serious about your goal, don't quit.
Awesome, great advice. But for a professional bodybuilder, as you go down the path of life and as you get older, Dorian Yates, for example, he was one of the first original mass monsters, and he's in his 60s now, and he has considerably less muscle mass now. He has downsized. Have you thought about the process of aging and downsizing and what that's going to feel physically and psychologically?
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said there. I always told myself as long as I enjoy what I'm doing, I'm happy. As long as I continue to prove and as long as I'm healthy, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So all those three things are still in place. I think there's going to be a time, and I've talked to some other bodybuilders like Branch Warren, Guy Sister Nino, about kind of like knowing when the right time is. And they're like, you'll know. You'll know when the right time is to retire. But the truth is, as awesome as all this muscle is on my frame, it's not good for my longevity. If I keep this size on till the day I die, I'm probably not the day I die is probably going to be here sooner than later.
Well said.
Yeah, I'm walking around here almost purely shredded at 250 pounds.
And
I put,
how tall are you?
I'm 5'10". If I put a little body fat on, I'm 270. That's a lot of work for the cardiovascular system to supply all that blood and nutrients and everything else. So whenever I figure out the right time to retire, I think I'll go through a cut and do my last show, and I'll just never bulk out of it again. I'll just try to stay cut and look good for the rest of my life.
Awesome, awesome. And so I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about aches and pains that come with getting older and working out. How are you handling? What's your strategy in dealing with some of the things like arthritis and osteoarthritis and injuries and so forth?
Well, I'm very fortunate, and I think a lot of it goes back to kind of the foundations of my training, my education, my approach to training. But I've known from the beginning pretty much that I'm not a power lifter. I look good and I'm strong, but I'm not strong like a power lifter.
Mhm.
So I never really push those sets that are super heavy and that will really increase your potential for injury. I'm not saying I never have done that, but currently, I mean, ask me when I did my last one rep max.
Mhm.
Decades.
Mhm.
And people always come and tell me, hey, I just did 405 for two. I'm like, do it for 21 and I'll be impressed. Um, so like I said, kind of just the foundation of my training has always been kind of to bodybuild and put stress on the muscle and decrease the potential for injury.
Mhm.
And that kind of formulated my whole theory on how to train. And really, if you look at the definition of chiropractic, it's a form of medicine that prevents the cause of disease. So if you can identify what's causing the problem, you eliminate the problem,
Mhm.
there shouldn't be a problem.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the way that I look about training. You know, if I train in a way that's uh, very maintainable, I don't see myself getting injured doing it. So to answer your question, injuries. What injuries? Osteoarthritis. I don't have it. And
Awesome.
that's, I think that's not only just from the training I do, it's the way that I approach my nutrition. A lot of anti-inflammatory foods and eating clean pretty much year round. So
Mhm.
I would say my arthritis is almost non-existent. My injuries almost never happen. The last substantial injury that I can think of, I got two in mind. And one of them was from trying to lift too heavy. So I was bench pressing one day and I started my workout with bench press. I did 135 for 21, 225 for 12, 315 for 12. Then I put 405 on there. As I put 405 on there, I'm lowering that bar down and I feel this pec stretch like normal. But when I stopped it and turned it around to push it up, I felt that pec was still stretching and elongating and tearing. So luckily I had a spotter right there and I yelled at him I'm like, spot me, spot me. So he
Mhm.
pulled it off me. And that took about 16 weeks to recover. No major, I'm the only one who could probably see that there's any type of damage or disruption. So luckily that was a minor injury. I remember it was 7 weeks before the 2016 Nationals, which I won.
Mhm.
I was doing vertical leg press with Adam Young and Dylan Armbrust. And we had that vertical leg press loaded up with as much weight as you could put on it. And me and Adam were powerful. We're 7 weeks out from the show. And we're cranking out this weight and rep like 12, 13, 14, 15. My low back just cracking and popping. Didn't really hurt then,
Uh-huh.
but it really didn't hurt till next week. I came back then the following Sunday and trained legs with those guys again, and we were doing squats, and it kind of got a little tweaky.
Mhm.
Then after the workout, me and Adam went out for sushi, and about the middle of our sushi dinner, my back just locked up.
Mm.
So I had a hard time trying to recover from that. It took me a little while, and there was substantial pain and substantial limitations to what I could do, but I still put everything together and won nationals 7 weeks later.
Awesome.
So, yeah, ask me about my injuries, almost non-existent, and I think it's
Amazing.
the way that I approach it all.
What about your nutrition and your rest and recovery sleep cycles? Like how much emphasis do you spend on that?
I always say this to people, my clients and everybody else who's interested in progressing their fitness level. If you want to improve, you got four factors. You got your nutrition. That's the most important part. Training, rest and recovery, supplementation. Now, if you're banging on all these at 100%, there's nothing you can do to progress faster. I did add a fifth element after I thought about it over time. And the fifth element is time. You can't do all these things and expect immediate results. Do all these things consistently over time, and you'll see the best result you can possibly uh, look for if you're doing everything at 100%. So, nutrition is number one in bodybuilding. It's more important than training, in my opinion. So, I've been doing something kind of cool and unique over the past couple of years. It's usually 6 meals a day. 3 of those meals have a solid protein source. 3 of those meals are generally 2 scoops away. Add carbs to that and some veggies. There's your meal. And I believe that approach with using some of the more liquid proteins has been very conducive to getting my waistline more competitive. I think that's what's held me back in the past as a pro, because I was always too full of food. My guts were too big. So that seems to be the solution to that. What did you ask me? Oh, rest.
Sleep and rest. Do you try
Yeah.
to get 8 hours at minimum every night if you can?
Um, yeah, about that. The idea, I know if I have something to do early in the morning, it's like I've got an internal alarm clock set in my head. It's like I can't fully fall asleep and I keep waking up thinking I'm going to miss my appointment. So I just don't schedule anything in the morning anymore. Like today, I've got time to do this. I got up, made myself breakfast. Now here we are chatting.
Mhm.
But I kind of don't schedule anything in the morning, so I don't have any stress going to bed, and I don't have any stress through the night, and that makes my sleep quality much better.
Awesome, awesome. Do you want to mention a little bit about supplements?
Yeah, I've got a supplement sponsor with Perfect Sports Nutrition. They've been with me for 5 years or so. They've been awesome. I've always wanted to be a part of a brand that has a product that I believe in. And every product they make is pretty much top quality. I don't want to say pretty much. Everything they make is top quality.
Mhm.
Some of their supplements I like more than the others. For example, I got the diesel whey protein. There's 2 scoops in my coffee here. That's part of my daily routine. And I'm probably getting in over 150 grams of protein from their products. Um, but there's so much stuff being put out there these days. One thing I like about Perfect Sports is A, they are kind of innovative and they're on the cutting edge of new stuff.
Mhm.
They also rely on what they know works, the basics, proteins, creatines, glutamines. They got all the basic stuff still.
Mhm. Are they out of Denver?
No, they're actually out of Canada, and just recently they've kind of put some different bases, and I want to say in Florida, put one in Peru.
Mhm.
They're really going international, and they're
Mhm.
growing quick. Um, I was real happy that the director of talent reached out to me after my win to congratulate me. And initially, when I started with the company, there was a different director of talent, and that was Shane, and we had a great relationship. Then they brought on Aaron, and we starting from the ground zero. He's like, "You've been telling me for years you're going to make something big happen." It's like you finally did it.
Awesome, awesome. Is there other things that are going to take place in the next year as the Masters Mr. Olympia that you are going to be doing?
I'm kind of keeping everything open, and my possibilities like wide open. A lot of people are kind of hitting me up for guest posing, or at least trying to find more guest posing opportunities. Um, you asked me almost at the very beginning of the show, is like, has it hit you yet, or dawned on you
Yeah.
exactly what's going on with this win? And I've got to say no, because I don't know exactly every single avenue that I can take advantage of this win quite yet. And I'm kind of exploring that and learning that as I go.
Absolutely. You should start a Masters Mr. Olympia YouTube channel.
Well, I have a YouTube channel.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
just 2 days ago, I invested in DorianHaywood.com. So that's going to become a thing. There's a lot of good resources there. It's
Hmm.
going to connect all my social media. It's
Hmm.
also going to have like an e-commerce page, like a basic
Hmm.
online store.
Mhm.
And I think this will be a good resource for me moving forward with everything going on.
Maybe you and the current Mr. Olympia could partner and do something and create something out of that.
How cool would it be to be Masters Olympia and Mr. Olympia all in the same year?
Amazing. That
And
would
just,
you'd be the first, right? I don't think
yeah.
that,
There's only been 8 people in history to win this Masters Olympia contest. Been
that's it?
one
Only eight?
times, but that's one person. But I'm the eighth
Wow.
to be able to do this, so it's really an honor.
Yes, yes. And I really hope that it grows and it gets the recognition and spotlight that it deserves because, like you said, it's not over, when you end at a younger age, you can continue this on as you get older. There is no age limit.
And to be honest with you, this next Masters Olympia, we're going to be looking at a couple guys who are in the open class that can be jumping into this show and making this lineup really deep,
Like who?
like Andrew Jack and Sergio Olivia Jr., a
Oh
few
yeah,
other guys,
they're aging up. Yeah.
and like I already mentioned, Bonac and Brandon Curry. Put myself in the mix with those guys, that makes the show a whole different level.
Yes, yes. And do you think they're going to try and bring it to the US or they don't know yet where it's going to be?
I wish I had a better answer for you. I
You
don't
don't
know.
know. And they don't know either. I guess this all comes down to like, I'm sure finances and money to
Yeah,
put on the
uh,
show.
hey, the show was wonderful in Tokyo, and it turned out great. Um, I think Tokyo really loved me and my presence on stage. And if it went back to Tokyo, I think I'm going to have a lot of fans there to root for me, which would be great. So
Awesome.
Tokyo again,
You're
I'm
fine with that if it stays in
yeah.
Tokyo? Fantastic. Okay, well, we're getting here toward the end. Any final thoughts that you want to leave the listeners?
Oh, I think we covered about everything. Um, this whole Masters Olympia win has been wonderful. It's really been the highlight of my career. I think it was kind of dampened on a little bit with everything going on after the show, with people complaining about judgment, this and that. It kind of took me out of the spotlight. But I remember I go to Armbrust Pro Gym and I got to see Phil win every one of his Olympias, Phil Heath. And I remember how much some of Kai Green's fans hated him. You could hear him on stage. Phil would be up there and they'd be cussing at Phil, telling him they're going to kill him and calling him names and this, that, and the other. And I remember the negative impact that had on him.
Hmm.
So the point of this is if you've done something that's substantial and you're proud of it, be proud of it. There's a lot of other people who are proud of it with you. And don't let anybody else get you down with their bullshit. There's going to be negativity in the world, but how you handle it is what matters the most. So I've just taken everything in stride. People can have their opinion. But at the end of the day, I won that show. I'm the current Masters Olympia. I'm proud of myself, and I'm happy as a clam.
Awesome, awesome. Well, congratulations. You deserve the accolades. And with all sports, we need good sportsmanship and integrity needs to be in there, including the bodybuilding world. And I just appreciate you so much for taking the time and coming on my channel to talk about your Masters Olympia win.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dorian. And if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Congratulate Dorian on his win and also encourage him for the Mr. Olympia in October. Good luck, Dorian.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
All right. We'll see y'all.
Bye-bye.